خبری که این روزا در برنامه مطالب سیمای آزادی احتمالاً مشاهده کردید، برگزاری کنفرانس بزرگ و مهمی بود در کنگره آمریکا با حضور برجسته‌ترین شخصیت‌های سیاسی و حقوقی و نظامی و اعضای کنگره پیرامون موضوع اشرف و دفاع از اشرف در موضوع کارزار آزادی مردم ایران. خبرنگار سیمای آزادی با برخی از شخصیت‌های شرکت کننده در این کنفرانس گفتگوهایی داشته که توجه شما رو به اونها جلب می‌کنه.
And I just thank you so very much. And I know that the people in Camp Ashraf are extremely grateful to you, because I'm sure that so oftentimes they begin to feel very alone and lost, and that nobody knows their plight or even sees the challenges that they face every day. And it's not easy, I know, to do the things that you do, but if we consider the challenges that they face in their life every moment, it makes it a lot more plausible for us to get out and try to support them and to try to work for their freedom. And I'm, again, very, very grateful to all of you for fighting for this cause of human dignity and freedom. You know, I have to suggest to you that this year 2012 is a destiny-shaping year for Iran, for America, and for the whole world. We are facing some great machinations, some great events in our country here in America related to an election, related to the direction that we will go philosophically for a very long time. I will be extremely transparent with you. I believe that this administration has failed many times the dissidents in Iran when they had perfect opportunity in 2009 to stand up and say that the people who represent freedom in the world are with you. We are committed to the cause of freedom in Iran, and we understand the oppression that Ahmadinejad has placed upon your people. I am sorry that our president didn't do that when the opportunity was there. And my hope is that in this coming year, maybe that will change. And if it doesn't, my hope is that we change presidents. I'll be very, very open with you, very direct with you. I do hope that you don't forget to look to brighter days, because these are extremely challenging times. If Ahmadinejad is able to gain control or access to nuclear weapons, I am afraid that his hold on freedom and his strangled grip on some of the dissidents in Iran will only be strengthened. And it's very, very important that we all work together to make sure that that doesn't happen. And I see all of you as freedom fighters of the first magnitude, and I just encourage you to not give up in these critical moments, because I know that whether you succeed or not is going to affect the whole world. We know that the Iranian regime has placed many atrocities upon the Iranian people, but perhaps no one has faced the heavy weight of those kinds of things more than the people at Camp Ashraf. And I just want you to know that I believe that this regime in Iran that oppresses its people, I believe that their days are numbered one way or the other. And I hope that you all understand that there's a great many people in this country that are with you in our hearts in every way. When we saw some of the tragedies in Iran, we as a people responded, and we know the cause that you fight for, and we're there. Now, there was a time a long time ago when King Philip's Armada was coming against England. I think it was back in 1588. And it looked like it was a hopeless situation. It looked like that there was no way that they could fend off this number of ships coming from Spain, and that they just it was probably going to be the end of England. And they told the Queen of England that they were potentially going to be overwhelmed. And she rode down to her army herself, and she spoke words to them that inspired them to one of the greatest victories in the history of England, and ultimately to winning that battle that everyone seemed to think was a hopeless effort. And she said something like this. She said, "My friends, my loving friends, we see the sails of the enemy approaching. We hear the guns across the water. Soon now we will meet them face to face. I am resolved to come here to live or die amongst you all. If we stand together, no invader will pass. Let them come with the armies of hell, they will not pass. And when this day of battle is ended, we will meet again, in heaven or the field of victory.
We have a question from audience that what do you think the role of Iranian regime is on safety of the Ashraf residents as far as harming them or their influence on the Iraqi regime?
Well, I truly am afraid that if the Iranian regime had their choice, that they would do the worst to the Camp Ashraf people, that they would do everything they could to snuff out freedom and completely suppress them in every way they could. And that's why it's so important that the people that are fighting for the freedom of the residents of Camp Ashraf continue to do so. And it's important for the people across the world, for people like me and for leadership across the world, to let everyone know that our eyes are upon the people at Camp Ashraf, so that they are not forgotten, and so that Mr. Ahmadinejad and the others that would suppress them and destroy them if they could understand that the world is going to hold him accountable in that regard. And I will just have to say to you, to the people of Iran, I know that there was a time a couple of years ago when there was a great movement toward freedom, a great outpouring of support for freedom, and our president did not speak up like he should have. And I apologize for that, because I believe he should have. But I want you to know that that does not represent the feelings and hearts of the American people. The American people are with the people of Iran. We are with the people, those that are in Camp Ashraf. We are with the cause of human freedom and human dignity in Iran. And I think if we hold together and stand together, by the grace of God, freedom can still come.
You mentioned this is the election year, and do you think the policy of pressuring Iran to come with the sanction and so forth, to come to the table and negotiate with the Iranian regime with Obama policy will work? What does Arizona people think about this?
Well, there is a great concern on my part that the sanctions will not be enough to convince Mr. Ahmadinejad to come to the table. If it happens that way, I would be glad to be wrong. But there is a conviction on my part that this regime headed by Ahmadinejad in Iran is fundamentally dedicated to gaining access or to develop nuclear weapons. And that will do two things. Not only will it threaten the rest of the world, not only will it destabilize the Middle East, but it will strengthen his grip on the oppressed people of Iran. It will make it almost impossible it will make it very much more difficult for people outside to try to fight for the freedom of the dissidents and the people in Camp Ashraf and other places across Iran. So it's important that we work together to make sure that Mr. Ahmadinejad doesn't get his finger on the nuclear button.